Because the trend today in commercial and kitchen cabinetry is for wider and wider drawers, with bar pulls that extend the full width of the drawer, the tendency to grab the drawer front at the edge or the side of the drawer and pull it open leads to a problem called racking or binding. In order to minimize this problem, we look at the use of a product called the Lateral Stabilizer. What I have sitting directly in front of me here is a kit for putting a lateral stabilizer on your tandem drawer runner. These are all the components that you would use to make that up, and when you buy it you get everything in a plastic bag. This is the a linkage rod. This connects from one side of your one drawer runner to the other after you put all this confanglement on. It looks like lands and grooves practically on the inside of the linkage rod. Well, that's kind of a nice deal because also in the package are these pinion adapters, and those have the little grooves on it that fit right into the linkage rod. So this is the pinion adapters, and then the pinion adapters, you use these little locking clips to hold everything together. Now this is the brain housing group right here for making this thing function properly, and they call this the pinion housing, the rack and pinion housing. This is the gearbox to make everything function properly so that when you pull on one side of the drawer, the other side is going to follow right with. Synchronizes everything. Lateral stabilizer. And this is the rack. This is where your gear runs into these grooves here. These tabs are attached. The front one is fixed. It won't slide around, but the back one moves depending on how long of a drawer slide that you're going to attach this lateral stabilizer to. Now, one thing I'll point out on these runners is they're marked, so you know which slide you have. In this case, we have the 563H5330. That 533 in there is the length of the drawer box that you're going to build. Well, if you're going to cut this rack, then you cut the rack 560 millimeters and it'll work perfectly on this slide. So that's a fixed number. So cut that off and then you can put the parts together and it'll work. First thing we're going to do, these are marked left and right. So I'm going to take the left drawer runner and attach this housing here to the left drawer runner. So it's fairly simple how it works. There's a little tab on here which you can see that slips into a hole and just slides right in there like that. Now it's on. In order to lock it into place, you have to push this orange device in, and that locks her on. Now she's not going to fall off. So you have to do that to the right and to the left side, and then these housing things will not fall off. Well, the next thing I'm going to do is, because this is a 5330 drawer runner, I have to cut this rack at 560 millimeters. So I'm going to go do that, and then I'll be right back and we'll slide the pieces together. Now we're going to attach the gear rack to the drawer runner. As I said, this rear mounting clip fits here in these notches in the drawer slide right there. So first we will slide the rack into the housing, the pinion housing back here, like that, and then we have to just line up the tabs there and push them into the and we do the same thing to the other side. Put the rack into the housing, line up the tabs, and clip them into place, front and back. that's done. Now, we got to cut the linkage rod. Now this is a really tiny drawer that I'm using for a sample because normally, as I said, you'd be way out here like this. 53 inches for sometimes, but it'd be rare for somebody to make as narrow one as I'm going to make for this sample. But I'm going to cut this and we'll put her together. There we are, our tandem runners are installed, and manufacturer recommends 3 millimeters under here to accommodate the gear rack. This is a very nice system. We haven't, in the back of the cabinet, you can see where the pinion rack and pinion gears are. We haven't installed the connecting rod yet, but once we do, then the runners, when you pull one out, the other one will come out at the same time. It's a really nice system. Now we're going to install the linkage rod. Now let's have a look-see at how this works. See if that linkage rod and the lateral stabilizer actually works. Let's just do this. Look at that. They work together simultaneously. You have a wide drawer. This is going to be a nice application. The lateral stabilizer doesn't have anything to do with how you build that drawer box, the wooden drawer box. You build that wooden drawer box just as if you weren't going to use a lateral stabilizer. But there is an important consideration with the drawer box. Your maximum inside cabinet width is only a little over 53 inches. So because your linkage rod is only 41.5 inches wide, you have to be careful how wide you build that box. Your maximum opening in your cabinet is just a hair over 53 inches and it'll still work. There is a second consideration. Do you actually have enough room from front to back? You have to consider what is your runner length and what is your setback. And then you have to add 18 millimeters to have enough room for this lateral stabilizer to function properly. So be sure to consider your front to back and how much room you've got in there if you can actually use a lateral stabilizer. How do you cut the linkage rod to the exact length that you need? Well, take a look at this artwork here. It makes it pretty clear. You take whatever your inside cabinet width is and subtract 298 millimeters from that, and that's the exact length that you cut the linkage rod, and it'll work perfectly in your lateral stabilizer application. Here are some points from the Blum specification manuals. The first one is that if you're building frameless cabinets or blocked out face frame applications, you can have drawer boxes from 9 inches to 27 inches in length. If you plan to use the lateral stabilizer and you're building face frame cabinets and want to use the rear mounting attachment, then you can only use boxes that are 12 inches long to 21 inches long. There are no provisions for a rear mounting socket on the drawer lengths longer than 21 inches. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video useful.